Good morning. We are now on day number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leaving Mount Pisgah campground and inn. Beautiful, beautiful area. Had a nice evening. Got a little cool, not cold, but a little cool. So we continue on the Smokey Mountain 1000. And we are generally headed to the southwest, back towards Georgia. We'll go through Dillard. From Dillard, we'll be into the Tallulah River area, Charlie's Creek Road, and on into some familiar roads we've ridden on the Smokey Mountain 500 before, and also the Southeast Adventure Trail. We have been uber blessed since, what was that, Saturday? Or no, Sunday, yeah, that we had the rain. Gorgeous weather. So grateful for that.
We're back on the Blue Ridge Parkway, heading south. Beautiful morning. Doesn't get much better than this.
I do have to say that, and I may have mentioned some of this, the amount of pavement to off-road. The off-road up on this north part of the 500, of the 1000, the northern 500, I guess you could say, there's been some epic stuff. Really, really nice stuff. But there probably, I guess if you really added it up, might be even a higher percentage of pavement over off-road, gravel that is. But definitely worth it, I think. I mean, Brad and I talked some about if we were to come back and just do 500 miles, would we do the northern 500 as opposed to the regular 500? And I think we've maybe changed the route up some. You got to ride a lot of pavement to get to the road that leads up to Wiseman's View on the west side of the gorge there at Linville. And as awesome as that view of the gorge was, that road, the mountain road, I mean, it's just beat up by Jeeps. I don't know. Just wasn't a great ride. So it is definitely different up here. I know one of the comments I had seen on the Facebook was that it's more scenic on this section of the 1000 versus the Smokey Mountain 500. And I can certainly agree with that. The fact that you're on the parkway a bit more, well, not on the parkway at all, on the Smoky Mountain 500, but you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway, so views like this, they're just unbeatable. Once you're into the mountain roads, again, the trees block a lot of the view where you might be able to see through the trees, especially this time of year when everything's in, all the leaves are on the trees. I guess all that really sums up that you enjoy the off-road stuff and it gives you enough of that, and then you get the paved twisty stuff, and there was some pretty aggressive paved twisty stuff. But if you're on the fence about whether to do the Smokey Mountain 500 or the 1000 or the 750, do it. Do it. Experience it yourself and find out if you find the paved sections a bit of a break or a rest opportunity. But if you enjoy ride twisties at all anyway, you're going to enjoy this. I hope this is something you enjoy and find helpful for those of you considering any of the Smokey Mountain rides. Blessings to you. Pretty impressive rock wall. So after you come off the actual Blue Ridge Parkway, you get on this Highway 215, which is Parkway Road. Still, it's a gorgeous road.
So we're over 20 miles already this morning and still nothing but blacktop. However, another twisty road. You know, the question's been asked a lot about how many miles of off-road versus on-road is there in the Smokey Mountain 1000. And the first few days were a lot of dirt, but yesterday and then today so far is a lot of pavement. My front tire is a Pirelli MT21 knobby, and it's pretty well wore down. So if I was to do this again, I might go with more of a 50-50 tire, just for not for the traction purposes, but for longevity purposes. The knobbies still have plenty of traction on the street. The back tire was brand new. Slapped it on right before we left. It is doing fine still. It's a D606. That happens to be the same combination that Wes is using. And his tires still look good, so I don't know what to say about that. Anyway, something to consider.
Into our first gravel road of the day. Indian something, it looks like.
So just as I say that, we turn to a gravel road. But again, nothing challenging so far. We could do this on a 50-50 tire pretty easily.
After getting through that little neighborhood section, you're into a little bit more of a mountain road feel here. US 64. Be ready, it's a stretch. A lot of traffic. Slow driving, people around the turns and curves.
So, once we passed through Sapphire, North Carolina, just east of Cashiers and Highlands, we finally turned south off of US 64 and headed toward South Carolina and a small portion of Sumter National Forest before entering into northeast Georgia. Unfortunately, on Upper Whitewater Road, just before getting onto Highway 281, I came across a perfect marble-shaped gravel spot in a left banking turn, and the bike slid out from under me. It wasn't a bad fall, but the results were horrible, as my left lower leg was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the bike hit it just wrong, causing my left tibia and fibula to break. The Lake Toxaway Fire and Rescue Team responded, took great care of me, and decided a 2-hour ambulance ride was not in my best interests. So they called in a helicopter ambulance to fly me down to Greenville, South Carolina to the trauma center.
So, final update to our Smokey Mountain 1000 trip. You'll notice Wes is no longer in front of me. We were traveling down a Forest Service road, a gravel road, with a slight bend to the left, and he just hit some marble just right, and his bike went down. It almost seemed slow motion even. But when I went up to help him lift the bike up. He said he felt his leg was broken. So, and I could see that it was foot was definitely twisted. So he called the paramedics on his inReach. They arrived and they're going to life flight him to some hospital. I'm hoping he updates me, because in the meantime, I've taken his bike to a local church for the day.
After surgery the next morning to insert a titanium rod, Brad picked me up after retrieving the trailer and bikes, and we headed back to Northwest Florida. I hated to miss the portion of the route that was still ahead of us. Some roads and creek crossings in North Georgia that on 3 previous trips up here have become some of my favorites, including the Tallulah River, Charlie's Creek Road, Helton Creek Road, and definitely Old Bucktown Road. We had planned to camp at Cooper's Creek Campground on our way back to the Ocoee River area where we began our journey in Cleveland, Tennessee. So we didn't complete the full 1,000 miles, but even with the devastating ending, we experienced some beautiful parts of God's creation and some awesome riding. No doubt, once healed up and back on the bike, we'll begin planning a return trip to these amazing Smoky Mountains.